Welcome to the Eco D2C podcast, where we break down the growth strategies behind successful natural and eco-focused companies. My name is Luke, and I'm here with TJ, CEO of Bobo's. How are you doing today, TJ?
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So this episode is going to be a little shorter than some of the episodes that we've done, but we're super happy to have TJ here and dive into a little of how Bobo's has been growing recently. TJ, for those who are unfamiliar, can you tell us just a little bit about the brand before we dive into numbers?
Sure. Bobo's was born in Boulder, Colorado in 2003 in Beryl Stafford's kitchen. She was developing some baked goods with her daughter Alex, whose nickname is Bobo. And she started selling these oat bars wrapped in saran wrap to coffee shops around Boulder. And she took a very unfamiliar path to today's natural foods entrepreneur, in that she never took any external money and developed a profitable business from day one and funded it internally. And over the course of about 10 years, she kind of struggled with a very small business as an entrepreneur, but over the last 4 or 5 years, we've all experienced super explosive growth.
All right. So it's been covered how Beryl bootstrapped the business to grow, and from being in local coffee shops to the local Whole Foods to getting West Coast and then national distribution through UNFI. But I'd love to dive into a little bit of the growth over the past couple of years since you've been brought on as CEO. And just before diving into any particular questions that I have, I'd love just to sort of ask how it's been going over the past several years. I know there's been quite a bit of investment, and you guys have a new facility that, correct me if I'm wrong, either is being built or has been built here, a second facility here in Colorado to increase production. What does marketing look like on the level that you guys are at? How do you take an established brand and scale to compete with Kind and Clif Bar?
Sure. Well, we've had explosive growth 3 years in a row. Our compounded growth rate from 2016 through the end of 19 is over 50% per year. And it's a combination of a number of factors. The brand went through kind of a re-strategizing and a repositioning in 2016. And then in 2017, we really built out our selling organization and launched formidably in the conventional channel, first with Albertsons Safeway and then also with Kroger.
Mm-hmm.
They've both been great partners of ours. We took a lot of innovation into Whole Foods that eventually made its way through the rest of the natural channel and into conventional. We launched a stuffed line. We did a lot of renovation to our core products. We came up with a toaster pastry that we sell by the each. All of those have been really very successful. And then this year, we have experienced a lot of growth in some alternative channels. We've launched up in Canada. We found ourselves inside the emerging brands platform at Amazon. We brought our direct-to-consumer strategy internal. We've launched in drug and in military in a very formidable way this year. All of those have really contributed to significant growth. Just last quarter, our business grew 45%. So at present, we're having a little bit of a challenge maintaining a growth rate of over 50, but our base is so much bigger. The business is still very much on fire.
Gotcha. Congratulations on all the growth. Now, I know that all of these things are interconnected. Doing really well in retail will, of course, help you do really well online and vice versa. But among the new retail partners and expanding your online presence, has there been any within either one of those categories? Has there been any particular effort or combination of efforts that has really helped spike everything across the board? Or was there a channel that was underutilized before that has really grown rapidly for you guys recently? And what was behind that?
Well, Whole Foods is probably, remains the biggest single commercial that you can acquire. If you partner deeply with them and you pick up off-shelf placement on a national, on a global basis with them, that drives so much awareness and trial on your business. We've been able to pick up display business also with Kroger, with Albertson Safeway, with HEB, and those have been, super formidable partners for us. But I would say that over the last 2 years, a key part of our strategy that's played out very well is the investment in area sales managers. We have a small army. We're up to 11 of them now that are full-time Bobo's employees, and all they do is call on individual stores and primarily set up display. If you're in healthy snacks, you're trying to break through and take share and establish really strong position in whatever category you're in. There's just so much display opportunity for a healthy snacking brand that we believe in spending money there first and spending it in G&A. And hiring great people that are hitting 10 to 12 stores a day, hitting, over 50 stores every single week. And, over those 50 store visits, see if you can get, 5 to 10 meaningfully sized displays set up that last a couple of weeks. And that just drives a lot of awareness and trial for our brand.
Gotcha. So is it fair to say that, you guys are investing all across the board in these different channels, but is it fair to say that the most amount of growth and the most investment has been going towards just getting into more storefronts across the United States?
No, we've not dramatically expand our ACV. Instead, what we do is we invest heavily in velocity that we can achieve inside the stores where we already are.
Okay.
We have picked up some. We picked up, probably a 25% increase in distribution annually, but there's a lot that we don't yet have. And before we try to knock those stores down, I'm focused on helping our team improve our velocity to compete formidably with Cliff Bar and Kind Bar and Lar-Bar where we already exist.
Mm-hmm. So we're primarily digital marketers. What does it mean to partner more deeply with a partner like Whole Foods or your other retail partners, as opposed to how a brand will typically partner with one of these entities?
Well, they have their annual planning process, and they have their favorite go-to-market tools and products that they need to sell you. So the first thing that you need to do is understand how effective their vehicles can be, and maybe they are, in which case you want to participate. Like if you can get an off-shelf promotion at Whole Foods on a national basis, that's going to bode really well for your brand and for your business. And then there's other programs that you might be able to sell into them, like a shipper program. And those can give you a great shot in the arm with additional volume, particularly in the nutrition bar category. Mm-hmm. But you better be careful, because we have experienced a lot of returns with different regions of the country and different banners where they don't sell through the shipper product, and then they pull it all off the floor after a month or something like that. And then you thought you picked up a couple $100,000 of revenue as a boost to a specific banner, and then you come to find out that $40,000 or $50,000 of that's getting returned. So we've learned some of those lessons and changed some of our strategies. But then, probably most important is that there's a lot of rules that are quoted to you, and there's a lot of rules that are made to be broken. A lot of retailers will tell you that they have clean store policies and that they don't they don't allow any freestanding displays or anything hanging off of the racks or, anything that's adhered to, the end cap on the side. But then you walk the store and you see all kinds of brands that are breaking those rules. We've just made it a solid course of our business to make sure that we're the brand that's breaking those rules as often as possible.
And so if I'm a brand and I'm trying to partner more deeply with a store and break some of those rules, what is a good way to approach that conversation?
Find the 10% of a regional conventional retailer, and find the top 10% of the stores and call on them directly, and see if you can expand your placement, not from the central headquarters, but in the given region, by getting them to pull product from UNFI or KeHE. That's one way. You can customize merchandising equipment for them, and you don't go into the store and just start putting that stuff up, but you build a relationship with people that work at the store level, and they'll often put up freestanding racks or something in the check lane, or we've got about 15 pieces of hardware that we can put into any given store that they can choose from. And if you put up a freestanding rack, you're going to sell probably 3 to 4x per facing off of that rack than you will in the core set. So we try to jack our velocity up that way and as much as possible, because we're not a $100 million business yet, and we're competing against brands that are over $500 million, and so the power that they have on the headquarter call greatly outpaces what we're able to get done. But we can get a lot of stuff done at the store level, and act as a little bit more of a street fighter. Gotcha.
It's super interesting. What place does digital have in Bobo's expansion strategy?
Well, digital is a key way that we're driving awareness and trying to build our own direct-to-consumer strategy on eatbobos.com, as well as how we partner with Amazon. So we've staffed up our direct-to-consumer internally, and then we work very closely with Amazon now, and that both of those channels for us are growing significantly. I think our goal is to set this business up where by 2025 we achieve as much as a quarter of total company revenue from e-commerce.
Right. Can you tell me a little bit about what you mean by partnering with Amazon closely? As someone who works with Amazon frequently, and typically the agency employee, whoever you have taking care of the Amazon channel, often has to guide Amazon's employees to fix things that are broken and do the right thing. On what level are you partnering with Amazon, and how is that achieving better results?
We are fortunate and proud to be a part of Amazon's Emerging Brands platform.
Gotcha.
They have a team that is basically assigned to us, or we're assigned to them, and we have direct interaction with Amazon on a weekly basis. In fact, they'll be in our bakery here in Boulder next week. We're out in Seattle a couple of weeks ago, and they kind of intimately monitor our listings and our brand page, and we're beginning to work with their marketing groups on different ways that we can really push the brand meaningfully forward.
Interesting. And are they offering, what kind of analytics are they offering you guys? Because a lot of the brands that we've collaborated with, for instance, Amazon, they always have new programs rolling out. It's not uncommon to have someone contact the brand from various Amazon initiatives and offer to go over things, but it's in my experience, it's rarely been helpful. It's really intriguing to me to hear about a brand that's had an immensely positive and informative experience with this.
Yeah, it's exclusively positive, and it's a pure partnership. They want to see our business increase, 5x annually, and they get very tactical and look at like how we're treating keywords, but then they also step back and try to look at what marketing efforts they're taking inside natural foods in general, and where are there ways that they can kind of plug Bobo's into this activity.
Interesting. Can you give me an example of how, when you say tactical, are they simply delivering a lot of analytics to your team? Are they doing promotions themselves?
Well, when I speak to the tactical, they're like looking at our descriptions as an example, or what our strategies might be for generating reviews, and they're kind of holding our hand. I can't get into the specific tactics that they provide, but they kind of hold our hand and guide us in the direction of best practices as they see it. And of course, they know better than anybody else what's going to really improve the algorithms in our direction.
Gotcha. We only have a little bit of time left. What are some pitfalls that other companies have fallen into that you feel like you've avoided as you guys aim at this growth?
Well, to date, we haven't really expanded beyond the two categories that this business was competing in when I joined as CEO at the end of 2015. I mean, we've stayed in nutrition bar and cereal bar for the most part. We launched toaster pastries, but that's merchandised in the same cereal bar section. It's not lost on us that our brand is extendable. We could go into cold cereal, we could go into oatmeal cups, we could make granola, cookies. I think consumers would give us license to go into crackers, a lot of different areas in dry grocery. And we feel like those opportunities exist well into the future for Bobo's, but we want to build our strength and, importantly, our profitability inside nutrition bar and cereal bar, because that's where we're going to create the most value for the company. This isn't simply a race for top line. We're very focused on our gross margins and our EBITDA, and we're very close to breaking even on an annual basis. And I think that once we get to that kind of strength, we're going to have a reinvestment opportunity that'll be really significant. And the virtuous circle of everything that we're doing from a commercialization perspective can just be broadly expanded.
And do you think that other companies will make the mistake of maybe expanding across too many product lines as they try to grow? And you feel like you guys have different.
I see that all too often in this space. And what those companies end up doing is short arming most of their product portfolio, and they don't they don't operate like a company that lives or dies by the success of any one category. Instead, often founder-led businesses have just a insatiable appetite for innovation, and that could be a real pitfall, because if all you're doing is hitting singles and you're in 5 or 6 categories, what does your company really stand for? And ultimately, where's the value? If you bring on venture capital like we have, then inevitably those venture capitalists are going to need to get their money back, and you're going to sell to a private equity fund, or you're going to sell to a strategic. A strategic is not going to buy a company that is competing in 5 categories and it's like number 10 in all 5 of them. They want to buy a company that's in 1 or 2 categories and is a top 5 contender.
Gotcha. And what are some of the challenges that you guys face going forward?
Well, we've got our funding question answered. I just think that we want to continue to grow at a greater than 30% rate, and we want to do that very strategically. So we scratch our head and wonder, when is the right time for us to go into club and mass in a real formidable manner? And that's a big part of our debate internally. We also pay really close attention to our team and make sure that as we layer on an incremental $10 million of business or so a year, right now that the people that are in place are equipped to manage what is now a significantly bigger business with bigger challenges and bigger opportunities to tackle. So, we're trying to make sure that we've got everybody in the right place.
Gotcha. And as the expansion continues, if you don't mind me asking, what might be the plan going forward? Is it doubling down on, that army of, I'm about to mess up their title. The sales managers, the area sales managers. Is it to keep expanding? Expanding there? Where are some of the larger marketing efforts going forward going to be placed?
Well, we've done a lot of great cause work at Bobo's, and that's becoming a bigger and bigger part of not just our marketing, but more importantly, it's becoming a bigger part of who we are as an organization. We do a lot of volunteering as a company. We do a lot of partnering with an organization called There With Care, and it's been very rewarding for everyone that works here. And we've been able to drive meaningful awareness of the There With Care cause and nonprofit. And so we're gonna continue to lean in as we look into 2020. We've got a big part of our marketing plan around cause marketing, if you will. We do continue to invest in area sales managers. We'll have about a 30% increase in our G&A on area sales managers as we look to expand into other markets. We actually just put somebody up in Toronto full time. That's a part of that team. So I think those are a couple of the key focus areas for us right now.
So cause marketing is a very, very interesting topic for a number of reasons, and it's not something that I see a whole lot of brands doing. How long has Bobo's been involved in it, and was there a certain tipping point that in which the company thought both from a social and business perspective, we really, really want to dig farther into this?
We started it with volunteering. We wanted to give back to our community, and from the first quarter that I arrived here, Beryl Stafford, the founder, and I decided that we are going to volunteer as an entire company once every 90 days. We're going to shut the company down. And we're all going to do a meaningful service project that ties to the will and way of this business, which is to bring people home and feed them like family. And we ended up, after about a year and a half or about 6 of these volunteer projects, we ended up really kind of falling in love with There With Care. And we've gotten very close to them as an organization, and we kind of brainstormed with them this idea for a Thomas bar this year. There was a young boy that died 8 years ago of cancer, and we put his likeness on a Bobo's bar, and we dedicate 30% of the gross revenue of that product to There With Care. And we had a great program doing that this year. And there's a young girl named Nora who's also has childhood cancer. She's alive. And we're going to put her likeness on a bar that we're launching in January. And we're spending a fair amount of time with Nora and with her mom and dad, and coming up with a plan to try to drive a lot of awareness and hopefully a lot of volume on this product, because it too will have 30% of the gross, not profits, but the gross revenues directed to There With Care. So it could be, it could be a great awareness and also fundraising opportunity for There With Care.
Phenomenal. And just to close out, where can our listeners find you?
Well, we're available nationally and throughout all of Canada. We have a tremendous amount of distribution in the natural channel, but any conventional retailer that is a force selling natural foods is carrying Bobo's now. So we have yet to really break meaningfully into club and mass. That's forthcoming. And of course, we're always available at eatbobos.com.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in to EcoD2C, and we'll catch you next time.